And I'm just going to say it, in case it's not already obvious, an old personal friend of mine. So it's great to...
I knew you when you drank.
That was a long time ago. Listen, we better cut at this point. Yes, well, that's been 20 years. Charlie Duff.
Wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
When I left Fox TV,
Yeah.
they don't know this. I was going to be your road guy.
I know.
The video guy. And Fox TV, remember everything happened at Fox? And they took over the news for a while?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let me work with you?
Yeah. I don't know.
Cause
Look, I'm not
We'll
privy.
fix that in New York.
I'm not privy to all the details.
I still have this.
But I think somebody out in affiliate land, like the word got around, and I don't want to blow anyone's mind, that
Just
maybe Charlie Duff isn't entirely controllable.
Hey, folks, what do you want out there? Controllable? No. I'm a good employee. I'm a good person. But you can't have my mind. Oh, and you owe me dinner because Joe Biden did make it to the general election. You said he was going to die.
Oh, it's so stupid.
I know. So where are we going?
I gotta work.
I'll drink for both of us.
The name is Charlie Duff. You won't forget it if you've come this far. Tucker Carlson Today is the name of the show. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Fox Nation. We'll see you every weekday at 8 p.m.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's No BS News Hour with my main man, Charlie Duff.
Na. No bullshit!
It's just it, breaking news. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
Good evening and welcome to Charlie LeDuff Tonight. Well, he's gone. I take his. But he wasn't the biggest news. Don Lemon wasn't the biggest news. Let me tell you something. Turn off the fucking music. This is serious business, bro. All right, thank you. Once upon a time, journalists would die for a good story, even if it meant that their cocktail collaborators from the smoke-filled back room of politics might get caught up in the proverbial blender. Now, the media increasingly looks to make good stories die. They belong to a cozy little turnstile that spins from Manhattan to Washington to Hollywood. Consider this. Members of the media take jobs in the government, and the government officials take jobs as consultant on cable TV news. And all of them bark for bit parts in fictitious Hollywood films where they portray their real-life selves. You can understand the public cynicism. The popularity of the press is at an all-time low, rating just slightly above that of Congress, which itself rates as less popular than gonorrhea, head lice, and colonoscopies. The latest death by omission from the mainstream press last week wasn't Tucker, wasn't Don. It was that Anthony Blinken, the current Secretary of State, has been implicated in a political cover-up during the 2020 presidential campaign, namely that the Hunter Biden laptop story was fake Russian disinformation. According to the private testimony and sworn testimony of former acting CIA Director Mike Morrell, Blinken, then a major Biden campaign official, was the impetus, and if you're listening, I'm doing the fingers, impetus, for a letter signed by Morrell and 50 other top spooks in the Washington surveillance community, including 5 former CIA directors who falsely claimed that the laptop had all the classic earmarks of Russian disinformation operation. Morrell testified that Blinken also helped strategize the release of the letter to a hand-picked journalist, I'm doing the fingers again, journalist at the Washington Post. Eventually, the letter went to a journalist at Politico. Now, what was Morrell's motivation? To throw the election to Biden. According to a letter released by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, the testimony went like this. Jordan, what was the intent of the letter? Morrell, there were 2 intents. One intent was to share our concern with the American people that the Russians were playing on this issue. And 2, it was to help Vice President Biden. Jordan, You wanted to help the vice president. Why? Morale. Because I wanted him to win the election. The former head of the CIA. The former head of the CIA. What irony. The disinformation story peddled by the Biden campaign and the Washington deep state was in fact disinformation designed to swing the election to Biden. The story to me is at least as important as Watergate. I don't care about Hunter Biden. It's a scumbag. So what? I don't care. I never did. But I always cared about this for all of us, for everybody in the world. Who is the big guy mentioned in the laptop? The big guy, you may recall, was getting 10% of Hunter Biden's overseas haul. And yet, hardly a news outlet has touched the story about the fake letter. I can find no mention of it in Politico, the organization that first published it. Then there is the discredited Steele dossier that was paid for by the Clinton campaign. We know that now. There's the discredited story of the Trump organization's ties to a Russian bank through secret servers. We also know now that that was concocted by the Clinton campaign. And now we got the laptop letter. So instead of being forced into shoe sales, Natasha Bertrand, the political writer, keeps working her way to the middle, currently pulling a paycheck at CNN. So long, Don Lemon. And not to be outdone on the right, Fox News agreed last week to a payout of more than $750 million to Dominion Voting Systems. Rather than suffer the embarrassment of having its top opinion makers testify that they spun a fake story about election fraud, Rupert Murdoch elected to force his shareholders to pay up. The network hardly mentioned the historic settlement, much less apologize. So long, Tucker Carlson. Now, instead of separating fact from fiction, the media is a calliope cranking out chaos. They hector us, they scold us, they police our thought. That's not the job, and the public is starting to see it. On all sides, the people are being mentally abused, and the people know that at least when they go to the proctologist and bend over to take it in the ass, they know someone has their best interests in mind. Isn't that right, Attorney General?
Absolutely.
Can we get the Attorney General a drink here, please? Thank you very much. Have a nice man hat. Have a nice man. Thank you very much. Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Great having you here.
Thank you. I'm a more of an old-fashioned guy, but I guess I'll do it the old-fashioned.
Look at these dandies. Look at these
dandies.
Hey, we don't have any lobbyists to pay for anything around here. Cheers, man.
It's just a more manly drink. What can I tell you? I'm sorry.
What's in an old-fashioned?
Nailed
him! Nailed him, you pretentious.
He doesn't make them, he just orders them.
I drink them. Yes.
Mike Cox, the former Attorney General of the great state of Michigan, joining us. Now, full disclosure, Mike has done legal work for me. I want you to know that. Having said that, welcome in, brother.
It's great being here.
What did you think of that? Do you agree with him?
That was spot on, brother. Yeah, absolutely spot. Hey, I was afraid to come here, but you have been my client, so I had to come. But you're spot on. I mean, there really is this degeneration of standards, whether it's in politics, military, the media, wherever it is, right?
Yeah.
Churches, Catholic Church, even now, they still haven't fully apologized for the priests who abused hundreds, thousands of kids over the years.
Let's just say it, raped. You're not the Attorney General anymore.
Good,
raped.
Sodomized. But it's spread. That cancer spread to every institution. And most importantly, as you point out, when it's in the media, I mean, that's the fact checker, right? That's the beauty of the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment. That's the antiseptic that sheds light or cleans everything, sheds light on everything. And we're losing it. And I don't know how we get it back.
It's the role's important, is it not, Karen? Because I'm going to give a what would you say, a keynote address to a group of older people that raise money for charitable purposes. Right. It's really, top flight people, looking to do good things in their later years, and they want me to talk about because things are so partisan and the press has become partisan. What do we do to get a disinterested press back? And I said to him, why would you blame it on us? Like, the rise of right-wing media comes because, there was a leftist bent to it for all those years, but everybody kind of believed it. And then when somebody figured out, why don't we pander to the right? People went there. Then the left figured out, like, oh my God, look at the audience they're pulling. We should pander. Is it really the press's fault or is it the people's fault?
I think it's the people's fault, Charlie. I mean, the thing about it is that the media has its role and its responsibility, but we also have an individual role and responsibility to ask questions, demand accountability, and think for ourselves. And that's not happening either.
Well, as Mike is saying, though, like, we try to think for ourselves, but if there's no honest arbiter, what are you to think?
I truly believe the media, which is so important in a democracy, in a republic, is really lost its morals. But Karen's right. Us consumers, we want to eat candy every day. Right? We want to drink Manhattans, and so we'll accept it. It's kind of funny. Yesterday, and I don't want to go off the agenda.
We got an hour to kill.
All right. Yeah. So yesterday, I don't know if you read about the Montana legislature expelled this transgender, Zoe something or other, is a Democrat from Missoula, and it was Republicans who did it, and it's simply to squash her, right? Mm-hmm. Like they didn't want to hear her on the floor. It's like, who cares? Right? She's in a minority, so she gets to the microphone and says things you don't like. You don't care. So that's one thing, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm reading the AP article about it, and it's like compounded because I'm reading the AP article, and the writers, who I'm counting on to sort of give it to me straight, I'm not in Montana, they talk about the Republicans misgendered this transsexual. And it's like... Transgender.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's older school. That was the old word.
Right. So, which is my point, which is like, it's like every week... Every month, we all have to get out a new dictionary, right? And it's not a matter of being insensitive. It's a matter of word deconstruction and changing the meaning of words and creating new words in order to police your thought.
Well,
right?
there's a double thing, which is, as I said in the open there, look, now the media's become the scold, the thought police, right? But having said that, that's what a legislature's all about. The woman has every right, and we need a woman to stand up and say things. That's why you're there. So on the other hand, you're looking at the majority implanting tyranny on the minority, and it's like it's beyond. Either you're for people and letting them live, or you're not. And so what are we all trying to do? Crawl in each other's space, and there's no space left. You know what I mean? Now it's a boxing ring.
Yeah, and we all use words like. Sensitivity and weaponize them, right? And it's like you're not reasonable, you're not rational, you're not sensitive to what I'm saying, and we use it as not legitimately, but to weaponize. And both sides use it. Everyone uses it. And you brought up Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson. Obviously both living a standard to the outer world and not living it within their own workplace. And both of them were very capable of weaponizing and really trying to manipulate their audience. It's like we have so many modern day Huey Longs, right? So many modern day Father Coughlin's. I know you go to Royal Oak Shrine and for church. And
Nope. Our Lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But it's like because people get afraid to exercise what they think and believe and say it out loud. And it's just, everyone's become so intolerant. And the no bullshit network is one thing. It's a pebble in the pond, and hopefully it'll be a rock, in a bigger pond and so forth. And that's why you and Karen, what you do is important.
You hear that, Karen?
Yeah, I'm listening, Charlie. But
Let
can I
that
ask,
soak in.
Mike? I want to ask a question. I want to go back to when you first. Why were you afraid to come on the show?
Oh, I've known Charlie for a while, you know, and I just didn't know where we go with this. And also, I was, I'm just out of practice. I'm just some lawyer trying to make a living. 2010, the voters told me, get out of politics. You're fired. Get out of here. We don't want you anymore. So I took I heeded what they said, and I try to make a living now.
You making a living?
I am making a living.
It's an opportunity for growth. It was just an opportunity for growth. But I ask that because there's so many alleged leaders, and I'm doing the air quotes, and elected officials who also don't want to come on the show. And so I'm trying to gather all this information to see. Thank you for answering.
Well, I'd like to think that I would go on, when I was in office, I'd go on most anyone's show.
I'm going to get to that when we get to the.
I was always chasing votes, and I was a media whore.
In the segment we call Mike Cox, This Is Your Life, that we're going to ask you those questions. But I thought I would share with the audience. I called the Tucker Carlson camp and the Don Lemon camp and the media folks I know in New York and the Beltway. There's a couple things I know. Okay, so it's Monday. Tucker Carlson and his crew are getting ready for the show. The monologues drafted. They're cranking up. They're ready to go. And it's a call from Suzanne Scott, the chief executive of Fox Media. It's no more than a 10-minute conversation. You're gone. And it's just, they don't even know Carlson's camp, like what clause they were invoking in the contract, but they invoked the clause and you're out. But I know this. In the discovery process with the Dominion suit, a lot of embarrassing stuff came out. The text messages between, like Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Bartiromo. Tucker Carlson got a nasty pair of thumbs, you know what I mean? And I know I've got some that's private, but there's heavy language, and he doesn't really think much of his bosses, right? That's that part. Two, it's no secret that Murdoch, if you read the New York Post and the Wall Street Journal, they were done with the January 6th bullshit. They told Trump to take a hike, if you remember. Do you remember that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when your host is saying, okay, it was Antifa. No, wait a minute, it was the FBI. No, wait a minute, it was peaceful. Okay, enough of that. If you recall, Mondays when he's fired, Sundays when Ray Epps, the guy Tucker's been saying is an FBI plant, who's the FBI never heard of, he's going to file a suit. Okay, the board of directors are now getting a hold of the unredacted text messages that he's doing. Okay.
It's a liability now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. The lawsuit brought by his chief booker, Abby Grossberg. Okay. She has recordings. But the thing to know, that's the Me Too part of it, but Tucker Carlson never worked in New York. That thing you saw at the beginning of the show?
Yeah, in Maine, right?
Maine in the summer and Florida in the winter.
Not too bad.
So I don't think he's there creating a frat house atmosphere. His top two producers, they also got fired with him. It's no secret. They're both gay and they're married. I mean, you know what I mean? This isn't Delta, Delta, Delta or whatever.
I really felt like the Abby Grossman part of it is getting overblown, but I think that's because she's out there talking about it. And I think she makes a good story for the opposition.
And she's got recordings.
Sure. But I think there's bigger liabilities that you mentioned.
But that's what happens when you do the stuff Tucker did, right? I mean, we're not England. We're not the UK. You can't use the C word. You can use it public or privately. Mm-hmm. I mean, my folks are from Scotland and Ireland. You go there.
You fucking cunt, yeah.
Absolutely. But
I would only say that in an accent, though. You fucking cunt.
But if you say that around my wife or my daughter or myself, you recoil. And so when he did that sort of stuff, and it's kind of foolish. I mean, we here in Detroit, we know about the impact of text and unraveling people's careers, right? Mm-hmm. But I think every city has that, and and Tucker Carlson was just foolish to do that. And, using the C word and giving up a $20 million a year job, that's crazy.
In the beginning, you don't believe the election fraud. And then when your audience is starting to evaporate, you're not leveling which you're lying to your audience. You know it wasn't fake, man, right? And that's a friend of mine. I do not speak for the man. There's many things I vehemently disagree with, but I just believe in this country. You have to talk to each other.
Well, you know what you and Karen don't do is you're not like getting, Nielsen ratings every day and saying what demographic do I have to chase today. But that's what happens on MSNBC, CNBC, and of course with Fox and Bartiromo on the business side. I remember 30 years ago, and not to date myself, Chris Matthews was like the neutral arbiter, right? Mm-hmm. Middle of the road Democrat, worked for Carter, worked for Tip O'Neill.
Yes.
And I loved him when I got elected. I got on his show a couple times later on, and he had moved so far to the left because the demographics were to keep the audience that now Rachel Maddow took, right? He had to do that.
And she split. She's a part-timer.
Yeah. And who forgets Tucker Carlson when he wore a bow tie and seemed moderate, and he would go around the country doing debates with James Carville and others, right?
Yeah. Interviewing Britney Spears.
Yeah. And so with the bow tie, he was making $200,000 a year. Someone told him, get rid of the bow tie, move to Maine, occasionally put on a tie, and you're going to make $20 million, and you got to say this script.
So, look, he's got a lot of offers. I mean, I think that's not anything new. I'm telling anybody, but he's sitting, he's waiting. He's hired the same lawyer as Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows when it's done, it's just a bloodsucker of a
don't get me
industry.
wrong. If Don Lemon or Tucker want to call me, I'm game.
Put your number out. Go ahead. Give the law office number. Go on. They might.
Yeah.
They might.
833 Mike Cox. Really easy.
Is that right?
Yes.
833.
Haven't you seen his commercials, Charlie? He's got television commercials.
You got television?
I do.
You're fired. I could have got Mike Morse.
I'm a poor man's personal injury attorney.
Oh,
what can I tell you?
Okay, but you're right. Listen, Fox will be all audience on TV is diminishing. It's good to get out first because we all know it's a sewer. So let me take you through it. Glenn Beck was the biggest thing since sliced cheese. Gone. Bill O'Reilly.
And now doing better, by the way.
Is he?
Well, I mean, he started the Blaze.
Yeah, but he got his senses back.
Well, he owns it, yeah.
He's not a loon anymore.
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly was way more popular, had way bigger ratings than Tucker did. Gone, broomed. The guy that invented it all, Roger Ailes, broomed. Yeah. Megyn Kelly, broomed. Right. Then Tucker, it's not going away. This division's going to remain.
They know they'll be fine because they've been through before.
Yeah,
Tucker knows he'll be fine because he's a talent.
Yeah, I mean, he'll have an XM station or whatever.
Dude, he got hundreds of millions of dollars.
Anyway,
Dude,
Mm-hmm.
If I had hundreds of millions of dollars, you never hear from me.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Well, okay.
You couldn't stop.
I'd
Mark's
be on
right,
a
you could not
fishing
stop.
boat off Lisbon. You know what I mean? Drinking some Chianti, doing my podcast from there.
You would still be doing some investigating. I just know you.
The tide's in.
Yeah.
All right, now Don Lemon. What happened to Don Lemon? Growing workplace hostilities. He's just not getting along.
Kind of an asshole.
With his He got demoted. He wasn't getting
Kind of,
ratings.
sort of, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So don't believe when he's going against some right-wing dude saying black people, the Civil War was about Second Amendment rights or what the fuck are you talking? Don Lemon was right there. That's not why they canned him. They canned him because nobody was watching, and it's a cutthroat industry. And it wasn't coincidence that he got fired an hour later. I'm told by my friends inside CNN, it was the perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
Right? If you do it right after Tucker, then Don can't be bitching and, doing interviews everywhere because nobody cares.
Hey, Charlie, you can't move the fact that he was doing 300,000 a day. Mika and Joe were doing 600, and Fox and Friends were doing 1.5 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't even think they were doing 300, were they?
That's the last I read, but whatever the measure was, look at what Fox did with Bill O'Reilly for so long because he was doing the same thing Don Lemon was.
Yeah,
in essence. I mean, maybe varying in degree. But he was pulling in the eyeballs, and so they didn't care.
You know what's a trip about that? Like when we would do a big one on Fox 2, right? Me and Matt and Bob, we'd pull in the market, the Metro, we'd pull 400,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just in Metro Detroit, we pull 400, and Don Lemon with all the help in the world, can't pull 300. Yeah, you have to fuck out of here, get out of here, man. You know, comes a time.
Yeah, and he was
It's the nature of the
protected.
business.
He was protected for a long time, and then that boss left. So it was just he was on borrowed time.
And you know, Mark, I bet there was like hardcore conservatives who helped keep him there that longer, because the idea that Don Lemon was this archetype of the left, incensed so many conservatives.
Yeah.
So half his audience might have been, inadvertent conservatives,
Hate watching,
propping him up. Yeah.
You know, when Charles Pugh split, right, with his pedophilia charges and stuff, there was a private eye put on Charles Pugh, and the photographs and the intel was leaked to me that Charles Pugh was spotted staying with Don Lemon. I go, he was? I got in the car. I drove to Harlem to Don Lemon's house, and I don't know him. I need to ask, what do you make of this? And he's walking around with his purse dog, and his purse dog is dressed like he's dressed. And I go, Charles Pugh up there? Because what is the meaning of this? I go, you know what the meaning of this is? Charles Pugh, the on-the-run president of the Detroit City Council, staying with you. Have you seen him? I've got intel. What is that? I go, that's a microphone. You know how this works. I put it in your face. You answer the question. It goes into the camera, and then it goes on TV. Just give me your card. So I give him my card. Okay. Obviously no comment. We drive all the way back to Detroit, and Jeff Zucker, the head of CNN, had called my local boss here. And she goes, what are you doing? I go, nothing. There's no answer. I'm not putting it on the air. Now, fast forward to Ferguson. The grand jury, the decision, are they going to charge the cop with the death of Michael Brown? And then there's Don Lemon on a wooden box with a parka with the ermine collar. It's a beautiful piece of tapestry, this thing. And I'm walking all grizzled and hairy, and I'm walking like this, and I walk by, and he gets a look at me, and I get a look at him. He gets a look at me. I get a look at him. I go down. I turn the corner, and I'm walking up this way towards the courthouse. I look over. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. Long story short, CNN said, hey, that show we're going to give you, you're not getting that. So, yeah, everything's a bitch. We're all old. Anyway, good luck, Don. Sorry about the kiss, Tucker. That was a kiss of death, man. I killed it for you.
Like the mafia, Charlie.
Yes. Before we go on, let me show you what a Coney kit is. This from American Coney Island. You go to AmericanConeyIsland.com, you click the button, and this arrives at your doorstep within just a few days. What you have here, steamer buns, delicious. Steam them. They are delicious. This is a sweet onion.
Vidalia?
Yeah, same thing, but I don't know if this one's Vidalia. Sometimes there's. Okay, here is your pound of proprietary chili. Look at that. Fresh from the factory. A dozen dogs. Again, special recipe only for American Coney Island. And the hat. The hat for your kid. Look at that. Go ahead, Mike. Put that on. You can widen it if you want.
Oh, it doesn't fit with
No,
my
you
headphone.
can pull it. You can look at the side there.
All right.
It's adjustable. The other side, Mike.
Okay. All right. There we go.
All right.
There we go.
See that?
Beautiful.
It's for all the kids. So go to AmericanConeyIsland.com. A dozen of the original, the best, the first. And this is not payola, man. I'd like you to have that.
Thank you.
I know you're a big fan.
I'm a very big fan.
AmericanConeyIsland.com. And one more here. Luke Nowacki. Let me say about Luke Nowacki. He's putting out, he puts out his quarterly thoughts. The guy's brilliant. He's talking about receipts in the federal government. Tax receipts are going down, and yet the deficit in the first 6 months is over $1.2 trillion. He's reading the Congressional Budget Office report. Wow. He's trying to figure out what the trust fund for the pensions, if you're a Teamster, it's insured. And if the trust fund takes a shit, the federal government bails it out. I forget the number. It was $35 billion. They maybe, 35 billion. I don't remember. But these are things you need to know if you're somebody's financial advisor,
He
because
knows 'em.
because regular people don't.
Yeah, that's why I go to Luke and not you.
That's exactly right. You know what I mean? But I read what he sends me, and I'm really impressed, and I'm glad I deal with him. And if you're looking and you want some advice, and he's right for you, there's no charge to call the man. 248-663-4748. Luke Nowacki, Pinnacle Wealth. Get rational financial advice. 248-663-4748. And had you called him, he told you not to do the commercials, Mike. It's beneath you.
And Luke, I'm going to get that number after this. Charlie convinced me.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
And by the way, I'd never had a Manhattan before.
They're delicious.
Whoever mixed it did a tremendous job.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a man's drink, man. Okay, so let's do what saith the former Attorney General of the great state of Michigan, Mike Cox. Let me ask a few questions. Trump and the indictment. What do you make of the fact that it's a misdemeanor to fake your business receipts, and we're going to bring that dead charge, because statute of limitations is going to bring it back to life and amplify it to a felony because another felony was committed, and that was the hush money should have been a campaign finance expense. Your take on that?
House of Cards, right?
Go on.
It's Kevin Spacey, House of Cards.
You
Frank
are a
Blackwood.
Republican, by the way.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
All right.
It's incredible. And I'm a prosecutor, right? And one of the things I got so much shit about when I ran for governor was I didn't charge.
Did you run with a mouth like that?
No, I.
You should have.
occasionally- You know, when Mark got me on Drew and Mike, occasionally I slipped.
It's all about the environment.
It's all about the environment, yeah. So, I barely recovered from being on Drew and Mike. I'm never going to recover from being on this show. So, it doesn't matter.
Well, like
anymore.
gonorrhea.
Yes. more like herpes. Gonorrhea you can get rid of. Herpes you're stuck with. For the rest
How do
of
you
your
know that?
I read. I'm widely read. No, but it's really a house of cards. So often the hardest decision to make, or not so often, but oftentimes in public cases, the hardest decision to make is not to charge, right? And in terms of my political life in 2010, people beat me over the head about why didn't you charge Kwame with something with the Manoogian Mansion? And well, there was nothing there. I would have had to do much more than Bragg did. But what Bragg did is wrong. Look, Trump is facing some real legal jeopardy in a number of these investigations. But this is just really a house of cards. Joe Tacopina, I think, even though it's 90% of the people in Manhattan vote Democrat, even they won't buy what's going on here. For the reason you said, it's not to use a turn of a phrase, but it's a trumped up charge. It really
what's
is.
faulty about it? Just real quickly.
Well, it's like you take out of date, meaning past the statute of limitations, misdemeanors, roll them in, and you're in a state court and you're alleging a conspiracy regarding a federal election. And quite frankly, it would take me 15 minutes even to give a distilled explanation.
No, I get it.
But it will not I don't think, for Trump's attorneys. Now, whether the judge does what the judge should do and ultimately dismisses it, we'll see. But I think Trump's going to face a lot more jeopardy with a lot of these other cases.
So the other ones are serious, and you're of the mind he should probably be facing these charges?
No, I'm just saying more serious.
Okay.
Right? More serious.
Like a more serious-minded legal argument and charge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, also having said that, the Federal Election Commission looked at, because there's no doubt Trump paid hush money and he tried to keep it quiet and he faked the receipts. There's no doubt about that.
It's a great, the factual defense is going to be, I paid, I'm a billionaire, I paid her $160,000. So what?
Yeah.
Who wants to have their family hear about this, whether it's true or not? I mean, there's a multitude of reasons other than running for president for someone to do that. I mean, there's so many built-in defenses there. But I hope for the sake of our American justice system, the judge boots it before it has to go to a jury to decide.
Isn't that how fragile, Karen, like the American justice system is, that if no single judge wants to do what, he knows she knows is right, that it scars it forever.
That's it. But Mike, I want to ask you a question because Charlie asked you early on when you first started talking about this. He says, you're a Republican, right?
Right.
I want you to make it clear that you being a Republican does not compromise your objectivity or ability to look at things through an objective lens.
That's a
Because
leading question.
Well, okay.
Your Honor, she's leading the witness. Mike, I want you to say.
How do you balance that? Let me answer. How do you balance that? Because so often people on either side of the aisle are so adamant about supporting those that are with them that they don't always see things as clearly as some of us do.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Look, if it's a policy thing, taxes, should there be standards in schools, school choice, those kinds of things. Those are like policy choices that are left to people to decide. Charging, invoking the power of the state and not being able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt and knowing that coming out of the gate. Or in your decision making as a prosecutor, respecting the Bill of Rights or established case law, that's a whole different ball game because Democrat, Republican, that can be turned on anyone so easily. And
don't you see people protecting the relationships of those that they share a political party with oftentimes?
Yes, way too much.
Okay.
Way too, and it happens on both sides. But I'm hopeful. Look, I'm a very conservative Republican. I was conservative before Tucker Carlson became conservative, right? But I think when it comes to the rule of law and decisions on the use of the criminal law, especially, that's so important that we don't devolve into. I won't say a third world country because it could be. I mean, the UK has some crazy things, right? But Russia, Germany, South America, quote unquote, banana republics, they've all gone there. Some have returned and got straight. Others haven't. And we have to hold on to the idea that, that our rule of law is something very important.
Thank you very much, Professor. Listen, here's the thing. Fuck it, charge.
I got thrown an expletive there. I meant it.
Thank you very much.
I meant to say,
we'll
God
fix that
damn
it. Here's I have no problem. I think it's a shit charge. Right. Guys bending over backwards. I don't know how hush money should be a campaign expense. That's what's so stupid about it. But here's what I know. Hillary Clinton's campaign paid for the Steele dossier, the one that started the whole Russian hysteria. Right. Fact. Admitted. It's also admitted that you paid your lawyer, who in fact paid Fusion GPS, the firm who hired Steele. So they faked business receipts. The Federal Election Commission, which refused to hear Trump's, hush money, came up with a settlement with the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign because that was campaign finance fraud. That was a campaign expense, and you didn't, you faked it.
Right.
And you took somebody else's money to pay. So you have exactly what Trump's charged with. She's not charged, and guess where her campaign headquarters were? Brooklyn, New York. So I'm saying, middle of the road guy, fuck it. If that's what the legal system's going to do, if that's what a prosecutor's going to do, then all of these creeps get it. All of them. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Tell me why.
Because what Elvin Bragg's doing with Trump is wrong. Flipping the script and saying, well, as retribution, we should go after Hillary Clinton.
No, not retribution.
Well, it would be
Justice is blind.
It would be past the statute of limitations. But
all of it should be broomed.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And here's another thing. Like as a prosecutor.
Come on, we got to move on.
Sorry.
All right, we got to move on.
I'm going to shut up.
All right.
Let me get that expletive book. Is George Carlin around? I'll figure out what I'm not throwing in here.
No, you're allowed to say that you want.
All right.
How's your drink doing?
It's doing well. Okay.
Let me know when
it's evaporating.
Let me know when you need another. Okay. All right. The MSU gunman.
Yes.
Was arrested with a loaded concealed weapon, no permit. He was charged with it. Before it's supposed to go to trial, they come up with another charge, a lesser charge, a misdemeanor charge. The misdemeanor charge is transporting a loaded firearm in a motorized vehicle. But he had a bicycle and he wasn't on it.
Right.
This, in your opinion, as a private citizen, but a lawyer who's been through it, this is a concocted charge to push shit through the docket. Yes or no?
Yes. But it it's happened for decades.
Have you ever heard of a bicycle being...
Not that, but I like, for instance, in Wayne County, we would sometimes do these attempt carrying concealed weapon. Well, you can't attempt.
Attempt to carry a concealed weapon. So he has a concealed weapon on him, and he's charged with attempting.
Yes.
Misdemeanor. Is that a real charge?
It's not a real charge.
It's not a real charge.
Yeah. So because you either possess it or you don't. That's not.
No, I mean, is that on the books?
No.
Wow.
But here's the greatest part of that hypocrisy, right? Which maybe you're getting to, which is the Ingham County prosecutor routinely does that, as do prosecutors across the state, because you can't prosecute every gun case to the fullest and send the person to prison. The hypocrisy is to be participant in that deal, let Mr. McRae get that deal so that he can go then buy a gun, and then you turn around and say, we have to do away with guns, or we need more laws. No, if you would have done your job, arguably, well, he wouldn't have been able to buy that gun. The point being is, it's his conduct, it's not the gun, right? And people don't want to hear that. They want the shortcut answer, but it's his conduct. And it's especially against the backdrop of a horrible tragedy, it's so easy to cut corners. It's becoming easier for prosecutors to cut corners.
This is what we need to be saying. Like, again, I mean, getting rid of guns? I mean, how many centuries do you need in this country? But what can we do now? My point being, if they would have charged Mr. McRae, I shouldn't even call him Mr. anymore, he's a fucking murderer, convicted him, he wouldn't have had to do a day in jail or prison, right? That's up to the prosecutor. So what we could have done was taken away his right to legally purchase a firearm, made it more difficult. And if we were serious about nut jobs getting weapons, this is a good place to start. And no, you get one chance, but you never get a chance to buy a gun again.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. But
I have not forgotten you, Lansing.
Yeah. But maybe this is a function of the 24/7 news cycle, right? So you get Karen McDonald, who has to do something about the Crumblies, right? And then you have the current.
I support that, actually.
Okay, but and I don't know enough to say she's wrong, but I don't know if I were the Crumblies, and thank God I'm not, and I wouldn't be there.
God, how aptly named are they?
Yeah, but if the crux of the whole charge is, well, they went to school the day that he shot everyone, and they disclosed to him he's been drawing pictures of a gun and saying, I need help, or something that I don't know that I would have had the presence of mind, and truthfully, would anyone here say, okay, let me go search his backpack?
Yes.
I would be like disturbed that my son...
I hope I'm trained. And not only your backpack, let me go check your locker.
But that would, to me, that'd be more likely that the school or the administration. As a parent, you get that information.
You're buying the kid a weapon. He knows where it's at. You're not storing it. We need some blame. We do need some blame. These things don't have to happen.
Well,
so I got to give Karen McDonald some credit. It's novel.
It's never been done before.
It's never been done before, charging the parents with involuntary manslaughter, right? It's novel, but I'll tell you what, brother.
Okay, go ahead.
Minimum, these fucking whack jobs, who, by the way, tried to hide in the basement and get the fuck out of town and leave their kid here, you're doing 2 years. You're doing 2 years behind bars. Fucking great. Good one. All right? You're going to win. Dismiss. There's your 2 years.
Yeah, they're not going to be
Charlie,
responsible for
I said, I'm trying to make a living, so I don't read everything. I'll admit that. But my point is, if the crux of the
Wait,
case
there's a lawyer who doesn't read everything?
no,
He's busy with his own cases.
Yeah,
okay. I thought you meant the law books.
And Tucker and Don, by the way, I will read everything about you guys if you come hire me. So.
What a whore. What's that number again?
833 Mike Cox. No, but here's my point. There is I don't want like prosecutors chasing around parents every time their kid does something wrong. Because it's one thing if you have a 4-year-old who has access to a loaded gun under a bed and there's no guns, there's no safety in.
Now against the law.
Yeah, I mean that's a justifiable manslaughter charge. And I'm not saying what Karen did is not justifiable, but the key piece I read about over and over is that day, as a parent, they're told their kid is saying "help me," and drawing a picture of a gun, and they're hearing. And again, I don't know. I'm the first to say I don't know everything she does, but if that's the crux of the case, I think a lot of parents would be shocked.
The crux of the case is they went
And
and bought
I don't think buying a gun for a kid when he's 14 or 15 and for practicing, shooting and the dad or whatever went with him to shoot. I don't know that that's a
and then leaving it in the drawer and then being notified the day before that your kid was making drawings, and then the next day when you're called in, right?
Well, I thought it was a day off. Maybe
there's two. There was two days.
Then I played ignorance.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, let's go like this. Next one, taking gifts.
Right.
I'm working on something. I won't tell you what it is, but you were the attorney.
Do I get a gift coming out of here?
Yeah, the
it's
Coney
not
kid.
illegal.
I got the Coney.
He's now in private industry.
Yes.
Right.
I owe him. Don't bill me. That's it. Okay. It's not
833 Mike Cox.
Bill him.
from a private individual. It is not illegal in the state of Michigan for elected officials to take gratuities, to take plane tickets, vacations, nothing. Is that correct?
It's context, right?
As long as you're not a lobbyist or working for a lobbyist, you're a private citizen. You can do that.
How about we use a Clarence Thomas example?
That's if you're a Michigan official, Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas, some billionaire loves him. The Trammell Crow, big developer, flies him and his wife, enjoys him, but he's never had any cases in front of him. There's never been a situation where Clarence Thomas could do him a favor. It's maybe a little inappropriate, or a little bit.
Can we just go there? It's a lot inappropriate.
No,
aren't the American people sick of this? Well, first of all,
no. But
what about something in the future?
Well, I'll tell you. So I was involved,
or someone he knows, or something that has a peripheral impact.
Or his sugar daddy gets someone else to bring.
You're absolutely right there, Karen. But that's a new fact. So if
what's a new fact?
That the elected official is doing something for a friend or someone that the patron knows. Mm-hmm. But, there can be situations where people just like a public official, a judge, and want to be good to them knowing that they don't make much money and say, use my place, you work hard, whatever. Does that make me sound sleazy to say that? It never happened with me.
Well, yes. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's...
Yeah, it's sleazy. It's sleazy.
In what way?
Because you want the job. Like
let's say I had a place in Florida, right?
Yeah.
And I know, and I say, Charlie, use my place in Florida. You're a great dude. I enjoy being with you. Or Mark, I enjoy being with you. Use my place in Florida.
I would say this. I really would. I would say, Mike, man, I love you, dude, but I can't. I like when I go out for lunch with the source, I'm paying.
Right.
I'm paying. I'm paying. Right.
Right.
And that's it. When you want the high chair, things come with that. It's a long, rich life.
And God bless you. I'll tell you this. So when I say, when you're talking about legal or illegal, or I'm not talking about my own behavior. I was afraid to ever fly first class when I was Attorney General. Delta. Their lobbyists thought I'd like to fly first class, and unbeknownst to me, they can upgrade you. on their computer. And I remember one time I'm at Metro, and I get called up, Mike Cox, and I'm in office and whatever. I walk up there, well, we've upgraded you first class. I said, no.
Right.
And I'm like, and they're like, well, we gave your seat away in economy. So I waited till everyone got on the plane because I didn't want anyone to see me because I didn't want that appearance.
Here's what you would do. This is how you'd be great, which is, excuse me, ma'am, would you mind swapping seats? Would you mind taking my first class?
Yeah.
They made a mistake.
It's funny you thought that because I did that later on. The first time I was just like, oh shit, I don't want this conundrum, right? And I didn't think fast enough.
Believe me, I love first class.
Yeah. The second time, I was like Willy Wonka giving out the golden ticket. You know, hey, you want to go in first? And they were like, "What's the matter with you? You don't need to know."
Well, but you're
Politics.
taking into consideration things that a lot of people don't take into consideration, and that's the optics, the perception of impropriety, even if there isn't any, and that has weight, that carries weight as well.
It really does.
That's so in the rules of professional responsibility for lawyers, so many times they caution not just about the impropriety but the appearance. But when you're asking about chargeable or someone should be excoriated or what, I'm talking about the objective. I'm not talking about my personal things. So,
Absolutely. This is all. So it's not a.
If I ever run for office again, I don't want them running this.
I think the listeners will be very, very surprised.
Ask Tudor Dixon if they will.
Well, I'm educated enough to know the answer. So
if it's not if it's a lobbyist, you can't take the upgrade. But if it's a private citizen who may have business before you in the future, you can. No. I'm sorry. No. All right. Might as well. I wrote it down because you brought it up, and I get to the last one. You said you took a lot of shit about Kwame Kilpatrick in those days, and you didn't charge him. I told a few people that you were coming on. Yes or no? Final answer. Was there a party at the Manugian, and you were there, and Carlito Kilpatrick walked in, saw a stripper, and beat the shit out of her with her high heel, a table leg, or a baseball bat, sir?
You forgot Sean Combs, P. Diddy being there.
Oh,
that's what.
Breaking news!
No, seriously, the three troopers who brought this to Tom Furtaw worked for me. He was the prosecutor. And they had a secret source, a Detroit cop who was being indicted federally on drug charges. And they met him over by UD High, like not Green Lawn, but the street next to Green Lawn. And so the big news, this guy tells him, yeah, I was there, and there was this rapper named Sean Combs there. So this is in 2002, right? And
you went, and wait, if I can interrupt, you went, no, the fuck he wasn't. I didn't see him.
But it was like three white dudes from Al Grey, Tawas, and New Zealand, right? And they had no idea who this guy Sean Combs was, even though he was the biggest star in the world at the time.
So no, you weren't at you know what? The guy had a lot of parties. That party did not happen. There wasn't like every swinging dick law enforcement watching the wife beat a woman half to death. I mean, I'm very privy to the case. I've been in the file. Come on already. It was a cocaine deal. She got caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, so look into the camera.
Sad Detroit story.
Get close up. Which camera is this camera? This camera right there.
Yeah.
Okay, look straight in that camera.
Which camera?
This one right here.
Okay.
And tell the public.
Okay.
Tell the public.
I don't want to be avoiding the camera. I'm lined up the right camera.
Right in there.
All right.
Tell the public. What you're gonna. There was no part. Whatever you're gonna tell them. Go ahead. Final confession.
It's an urban myth. How about that?
What, a little more than that.
Okay.
Give us something to put on YouTube. Okay?
There was no evidence of a Manugian mansion party. There was evidence of Kwame's bodyguards billing the city for 26 hours of overtime in a single day. But from the time of Coleman Young and Dennis Archer, that was never chargeable because the city permitted it.
And you weren't there when a stripper got half beat to death by Kilpatrick's.
I wouldn't know that I wasn't or wasn't there. I can say I was never at the Manugian mansion until actually Mike Duggan invited me about 3 years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Was there a party?
Yeah, was there?
There was a party. Yeah,
wild strippers and stuff.
Yeah, though Duggan's pretty boring. So it And it was him and Lori. So his wife was there. Yeah, it was a
Former wife.
former wife.
His first
new
wife.
now.
His first wife. Yeah,
Don't
it was a very nice lady. by the
don't
way.
rip open old wounds.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right. Finally, now, the state of the Republican Party in Michigan. It's a disaster. You guys aren't going to elect anybody for years.
I don't want to say years, but we're probably headed for another bloodbath.
Extrapolate, please.
Well, there'll be no structure. No one wants to give money. Miss Karama, who I've never met, and I don't want to like piss on her just to piss on her, but she's not going to be able to raise money. The people who elected her, a lot of them were the same people who elected me or nominated me in 2002 to be Attorney General. They're good people, but you know they've been so twisted by people like Tucker Carlson, and fed a lot of stuff, and a lot of them have swallowed it, and we're not as relevant as we need to be if we're going to win. And the fact that Whitmer, I mean, we have so many great issues we should be able to run on, just from Governor Whitmer. It's like, remember, it's the roads, fix the damn roads, right? She looked at the camera. We had $9 billion to fix our roads. And what happened to the $9 billion?
That's all you got? To fix the road? That's all you got? Going for fix the roads. Doesn't work for me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It didn't work for me.
But the reality is there's going to be a great overreach over the next 2 years amongst the Democrats in the House, the Senate.
You guys don't have any ideas. There's no way to beat people. At least they can say this. No matter if it's bullshit or not. Schools, right? Education. Well,
hold on.
Jobs.
No, but Charlie, you don't want policy, so I can tell you ideas if you want them.
Well, just tick them.
Okay.
But don't go off.
All right. Look, spending $9 billion to give $175 million to a company that's run by the Communist Party of China in Mecosta County, Goshen, or to pay Ford $175 million in Marshall. You're buying a couple jobs. Companies come and locate based on like base stuff, and so you get Ford to stay, but you're losing hundreds of thousands of jobs from smaller businesses who aren't Ford, who don't have the political power. I mean that's simple. I mean,
Here, let me help you now. The taxes are too damn high. And what we pay for, we get less and less. The schools are imploding. The kids are not learning. The roads are shit. Everybody's backing up and moving away. You're paying the Chinese.
Right.
You're corporatists.
Yes.
Corporatists.
Hey, check this out. So I drive.
You throw a few nickels down here in the ghetto, and the ghetto never gets any better.
Hey, am I allowed to scream over
Fund
the
the
host?
police don't.
No.
No.
I just tried to show you guys how we're living out here. Go on.
Well, a perfect example. I'm driving here today, driving down Michigan Avenue. Southwest
With your butler.
with my butler. Yeah. So
They call him Cox and Butler.
833 Mike Cox, by the way. No, but seriously, like Michigan Avenue is a lot nicer than it was 10 years ago. But if you're living in a normal neighborhood, there's the same amount of murders there was in 2012. So that's Mike Duggan. What have you been doing? It's Chief Craig. If he had been the nominee, if I were Whitmer, I said, Chief Craig, you were there for 8 years. What did you do? Nothing.
You know what sucks? Here was the dossier right here. Chief Craig. Here it is. He was going to run. I was ready for him. And he didn't do it. You just criticized your friend.
He's not my friend. You know, it's funny.
Mike Duggan.
The Detroit News wrote that I was in his wedding.
Whose?
Mike Duggan's.
No, that was Kwame.
No shit. No. Oh, yeah. I was probably in Kwame's.
No, wait, that was White Boy
both
Rick.
his
I get him
weddings.
confused.
Yes.
But you weren't in the wedding. Did you go to the wedding?
I thought I saw you there in the bathroom at Kwame's.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
You saw me at the wedding. It was like over the fence.
Okay. I swear to God, I saw you looking over my stall when I was at Kwame's second wedding. So I
Squinting.
squinting.
Okay, so you guys, you're screwed. All right, we're gonna move on.
No, but seriously.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, no, like I was a prosecutor in Detroit for 13 years, and
And
it's
a
like,
good one, highly regarded.
yeah, and I ran.
Yeah.
And I ran homicides under Duggan. We were kicking ass. now 20 years later, the homicide rate is still the same. And he's been the mayor
So what
for
is he
10
not doing?
years.
You've been reading my column.
What is he not doing? What is he not doing?
Investing.
He's not taking care of the police department. You know, in every city across Michigan, every township, 2/3 of your budget goes to fire and police. That's your most important function as a mayor. And so if you had 303 murders in 2012 or 13, when we had 720,000 people live in Detroit, and you're back at 303 last year.
Excuse me.
With 600,000.
345 because they backed out 37.
It's always the funny math.
Yeah.
So in all fairness,
Karen, please bookmark that. He just said the funny math.
What?
It's really important.
Right?
Like, I'm not fucking with the public. I'm telling you the truth. Funny math. You heard it from the guy running homicide. I apologize. Bookmark. Proceed.
Hey, bro, hold on. We had no funny math when I was there, so
I wasn't here, man.
Okay,
you're damn right. You handle.
Well, I was just gonna say. I mean, I appreciate you saying that because we've always, at least for me, I've not criticized the police chiefs because they respond to and take direction from the mayor. And so when these things don't happen, it's because it's not a priority of the mayor. And I just want to make that clear. I mean, they're following their bosses.
Look, 100. Look,
can I ask Karen something?
Sure, I'm sorry.
Karen, are you hearing?
Can't Karen and I just talk?
No, this is friends. It's friends. What is this?
Right.
Man, you're so rigid. It's just a free-flowing conversation. Can the man get a freshener, please? Let her finish.
See, you're like Don Lemon, jealous of Caitlin Clark and whoever.
How dare you?
I don't know which
assume
character I am.
That the man is jealous. Maybe they're jealous. That's why they're stealing his time.
What were you going to ask me, Charlie?
I forgot. Hold on. Shit. Oh. Are you hearing that it's a possibility that the chief of police contract in Detroit will not be renewed come this June? Are you hearing that?
Minor conversation.
See, this isn't rehearsed.
Minor conversation.
This is no bullshit.
No, it's not, because I didn't know you were going to ask me that. So, and we hear a lot of stuff, Charlie. So let's just say rumbling. I'll call it a rumbling.
Okay, well, there we go. There's a little nugget for. There's a lot. You know it, Mike. A lot of people do listen to this program. It's top 200.
If I could get back, just
the reporters should follow up on that.
But it's like what Karen brought up is absolutely 100% true. Look, the mayor is in charge. 2/3 of the budget is police and fire. And if police and fire aren't delivering, that's on the mayor. Crazy Rudy Giuliani, who gave my wife COVID. Before he was crazy, he turned around New York.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah,
Rudy gave my wife COVID.
No, they were at a rally or at a meeting, and after the election, and he took his mask off, and so everyone took their masks off.
I remember that story,
and so
I remember that in the news.
His staff called her the next day and said, he's in the hospital, right? This was the day after he farted in the Michigan legislature. And you better go get
it's
checked.
It's a natural function, Mike.
But I'm digressing. But getting back to what Karen said.
You know what happens when
100%.
Rudy Giuliani takes off his mask? He turns into Phyllis Diller.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, what were you saying? You don't remember either.
No, I do. You're 100% right. I mean, the mayor is the mayor. The buck stops with him.
Well, but I'm saying that because 2 seconds ago you said, when James Craig wanted to run for governor and you said you were there for 8 years, what did you do? But that's up to Mike Duggan because that was his boss.
Well, it's both, right? It's a partnership, right? And
it should be a partnership, but if you know Mike Duggan, you know that there's no such thing as a dictatorship. You know that.
Yeah, you're right. And my
anybody ever tell you look like Lenny Dykstra?
But before or after he went crazy?
Before.
Oh, okay.
When he was the shit in the outfield for the Mets. It was unbelievable, Lenny
Dykstra.
Dykstra.
I'll take that.
Before the cocaine and the gambling. You know what I'm saying, isn't it?
When he was running the bases for the Phillies, I'll take that.
I'm good. The good guy could fly. He was great.
Karen and I try to have a real conversation, and you're...
I'm just arbitrary. Everybody's got it. It's good. So, Okay.
But I'll have to. Laura tells me I'm just some fat 60-year-old man, and so the fact that you said I look like Lenny Dykstra.
What a misogynist Laura is. If you were to say the same thing to her, well, we got headlines.
Yeah. But factually,
He called me a fat 60-year-old man.
Man.
Shame on you, Laura. You know, your wife, when she ran for state office and won, it's the one and only time in my mother's life that she had a lawn sign, and it was for your wife.
Oh, well. When she was chasing
I
after
go, Mom,
Bob
you don't know
Ficano-
this woman. She's crazy.
When when my wife was chasing after Bob Ficano about the jail and the airport and everything, we go to the Costco. And I was Attorney General. I thought it was big shit.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to talk to my wife. It was pretty humbling
Because she was on TV.
because she was on TV.
My TV.
Sometimes with the guy from Fox. too.
My TV.
Yes, your TV.
But she was bigger than me. She was like the one
No one's bigger than you, Charlie.
You hear that, babe?
Yeah.
I'm just talking to my wife right now. You hear that, babe? Nobody bigger than me. All right, let's move it along here. Like, okay, last thought goes to me. Thank you. Thank you both for agreeing. Mike Cox, the former Attorney General of Michigan. Mike Cox ran. Did you run the Homicide Bureau at the prosecutor's office?
2 years.
He ran.
Kicked ass. Yeah.
He ran the Homicide Bureau in Murder City because it was in 2002. Now we dropped to 6. It's okay. Yeah. Let's move along. No, I got it. These things are working. You said, and you know this, 2/3 of a major municipality, at least every other municipality in Michigan, 2/3 goes to public safety.
Right.
Not ours. If you do ambulance, fire, police, you're not even talking 50% of the 50% of the budget after what am I talking? Discretionary.
Right.
Discretionary, non-discretionary. Half the budget is non-discretionary. You have to pay these. These are bills and debts and et cetera. The other half is called discretionary. You can spend it however you want. We're not even spending 50% of the 50% for public safety in one of the most violent cities in America. It's a shame. We're being failed. And it wasn't just Mike Duggan. It was, sorry, Karen, it was Dave Bing and you. You didn't have any money. And it was every other fucking politician before. Because everybody got their hand out here.
Well, people have been kicking the can in the city for the longest, Charlie. I mean, everybody, even now, they say, oh, our budgets are balanced. Right. Budgets are always balanced on paper. So, we've been kicking the can, and we're kicking the can again.
Yes.
Yeah,
bravo. They're balanced at the beginning of the year. They're never balanced at the end.
It goes back to expectations. And, I hope Detroiters just say we've had enough and make changes, because at the end of the day, every politician has to respond to a voter. They may not want to. They may dance. They may try and give explanations. But at the end of the day, the people really can make a difference.
They can.
They can.
But you know what? Like you said before, democracy requires an honest arbiter.
Yes.
And that's, Karen. Karen's big wheel in this town, and we made some choices. We offer jobs on the East Coast. We don't want to take them. We like it here, and we like what we're doing. And I respect you being here and actually giving us a little bit of credibility. It's a cool thing. Thank you for it. Now, remember, before we get to this last segment, and you're going to want to stay for it, believe me. Spring season buying time is here, and so home inventory is on the rise. Rates have leveled off and at the lowest they've been in months. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah, and and I don't know, talking to Luke, what's going to happen. I'm not telling you to run out and do it now, but call Luke, call David Hall. If you think it might be time to buy, it's Hall Financial. They got a ton of great programs right now and can save you money off your rate and even help with the down payment assistance. Get this, a good one. Is it still, it says this week. This was last week, everybody.
Yeah, it's still good.
Okay. Just do it. Tell
Just
him
call
LeDuff.
him.
Tell him LeDuff said.
Call him and find out if it's still good.
If he don't do it, LeDuff said, hey, Dave, knuckle sandwich. They announced a 1% down program with up to $4,000 in forgivable down payment assistance. But you have to be qualified. So call them and see if you're qualified. If you're thinking about spring or summer renovations, which I am, I looked up how do you get the ice out of your gutters. It starts fucking up the shit. The ice goes up the shingles. It starts falling in your living room. I need to fix that. I need some money. I don't want to pay a lot of money. Ooh, it's a home equity loan. There, get that. Take the home equity loan. Pay off the credit card. Don't pay it on the credit card. Do it on the home equity loan. You feel me, bro?
That feels like a jingle, man.
Yeah.
You're in Madison. I feel like I'm Madison Avenue.
And it made sense.
And Mad Men.
And
Yes,
it made
yes,
sense, right?
yes.
Yeah. Okay, this is how you do that.
Yeah.
866-CALL. 866-CALL. Or go to...
Callhallfirst.com.
Thank you.
We're going to need Mark to do some percussion or something with that.
You know, when he works on Drew's program, they got all kinds of groovy sound. We're different, though.
Different feel, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what happens here, this program does the news, and then Drew talks about it. But he's got the
What's wrong
groovy
with
sounds. Yeah. I'll tell you what's wrong with that. When's the last time you checked your home insurance rates?
This year.
Your auto rates?
This year, thanks to
Who'd you check with?
Legacy.
And what happened?
They found me a better rate.
Going down, 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 down. I looked into my insurance. I called Legacy and my price went down, 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 down.
Is this another
down.
jingle?
Yes, it is. 586-209-4106. Save a buttload. All right.
I'm going to tell my wife I met John Hamm tonight.
All right. Hate to do this to you, dude, but you said it. Seems like you're your own man.
Seems like.
The demolition shit is real. All along, I told you I left my job because of it. The city is poisoned. Here's what's happening. The latest. Criminal enterprise and 11 counts of false pretense were filed against the demo contractor in Detroit for fraudulently billing the city $1 million for contaminated dirt. Here's what's more important that the corporate media did not put in the reports. The Detroit Land Bank Authority has agreed to repay another $1 million for, quote, monitoring issues in the program. Here's what I know. The feds came in here in 2016, midway, to 17 to 18 to 19 to 20. You know how federal investigation goes. They take 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yes.
COVID happened. Everything got shut down for 2 years. So far, correct?
Yes.
This is Mike Cox.
And by the way, they generally don't work past 5 p.m. So
They don't. They don't. So now, here's what happened. Treasury, the Special Investigator General for Treasury, we'll say Treasury for short, has a big case. They want to bring it. Biden's Department of Justice does not want to bring it. It's not big enough. Biden and Duggan are good buddies. Duggan was one of the first major politicians in the country to endorse Biden. It's not going. So here's what's weird, and you tell me if this is weird. You tell them if I'm bullshitting. Treasury went shopping for a local partner because Washington didn't want to bring it. That's kind of weird, right?
it is.
Okay. They went to the Attorney General's office.
Yes.
They went to the Detroit Office of Inspector General.
Yes.
So they're starting to crack little pieces off.
And I will hand it to Dana Nessel. Like she went after him. She didn't go after him on Benson's husband's payoffs or deleting all the emails. But I'll give General Nessel credit. Look.
So you're aware of what I'm talking about. You're deeply aware.
Yeah. Anyone can sign for the Attorney General press releases. I do.
Yeah.
And you're right. It was hardly covered in the news. Someone's charged for stealing $1 million from a demolition. How many houses is that? And it's just like, and other people, that's a lot of smoke. And there's been smoke for 7 or 8 years. And like I said,
and you don't see anything.
You don't see anything. I had great hopes for Mayor Duggan, but after 10 years, it's like crime isn't moved. The houses aren't coming down.
The dirt is poisoned.
The dirt is poisoned. I don't know. Maybe Detroiters have to go get Warren Evans because he seems to be doing a good job.
He does it. Where is
So
fuck is
could
he?
Mike Duggan be governor, Mike? Because those are the rumors. He had a huge fundraiser right before the end of the year, raised a ton of money, and that we're hearing that he's already focused on his next goal.
Well, there's a couple things. I think it's a great opportunity for a Republican in 2026, or there will be. So he's got to
could
fight
be him.
history. He's got
Wasn't
to
he a
fight.
Republican before he ran for mayor?
Yeah. So he's got to fight history, but I think folks across when he's never run against someone who has had as much money as he has, right? Sharon McPhail, when he ran for my point is, like, no one's ever thrown the dirt at him in a statewide election, whether it's in the Democrat primary or the Republican primary or the Republican general election. You know, the stories that Mike has been able to avoid will come out. And people won't like it.
I don't see. Wait a minute. You grew up with the cat. You guys were friends at high school, right?
No.
Okay. You grew
No,
up.
we went to the same high school, Detroit Catholic Central.
Yeah.
He was 4 years ahead of me. So
Okay.
I never met him until I was 37 or 8 or whatever.
Okay. You guys are friends.
No.
Okay.
I mean, look, I respected him when he was my boss. I think he's a very smart guy.
He's a genius.
And he's done some good things. Like I said, I thought he would have been a great mayor. And it looked good the first couple of years.
Did it?
But it's still the same 10 years later.
Okay, so you're paying attention. Watch this. This is for the regular people. This is not politics.
Right.
It's very odd. It's almost unheard of that one governmental body will charge another governmental body with $1 million fine. That's a whopping fine.
It is.
It is. So in the last 2 months, 2.5 months, we've had a $1 million fine penalty payback and a $1.5 million fine. We've had a $9 million fucking clawback in 2016. We're getting up there, and there's more to drop.
Yeah, here's like getting money to tear down houses is really hard. So like Duggan got the
he didn't do it.
No, but he got the original TARP money and the
he didn't
ARPA
do
money.
No, let's.
But
He didn't do it. It was there when he came in office.
But I want to make this point, which Karen brought up earlier.
Karen got the money.
But the houses, I wouldn't blame him so much, but the corruption, right? And then you team that with the lack of public safety after a decade. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's horrible. It's like
that is
real Detroiters. Like I was saying, I drove down Michigan Avenue. It looks a lot better than it looks better than it has in 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not where most Detroiters live. And so, like,
in fact, no Detroiter actually lives down here anymore. It's empty.
Yeah, but
let me get back to it so we don't get. It is corruption.
You're the host, so I'll
that
defer.
is corruption.
Yes.
You see it. You see where the fines are going, and I want to know. Look,
and it's not always criminal corruption.
Right.
A lot of times, just petty relationship stuff where people overpay, and it's just we just don't pay attention.
Look at here. We got 150 sites of demolition, 127, right, that are supposed to be replaced. We've got another 57 over in Karen and Red's neighborhood that were supposed to be replaced. The 2019 investigation claimed there's $13 million in payments that were for unsubstantiated costs.
Well, Charlie, think about this. He claims he grew up on Stansbury before he moved to Livonia, right?
Everybody does that.
Yeah. So drive up and down Stansbury, on the west side, and you be the judge. That's a real neighborhood where real people live.
I want to put this out there because this was something that everybody kind of overlooked. He did an interview on Fox 2 when he was talking about directing contracts, and he said, and that's the same thing that Kilpatrick, got in trouble for doing. And he admitted it. He said, yes, he said, I've done that. I've steered contracts. He said, and I'm losing sleep over it. And that just kind of went over everybody's head, including the person who was interviewing him.
You know, it's funny. I went back. I did 15 of these things, and it's not easy to do a television piece where it's paperwork and contracts and bullshit. I went to look for him for tonight's show because no media, and again, here's what's happening with the media. They're becoming the government. They're parroting the government's message, and so nobody in Detroit, not the ministers who are in on it, not the political class, not the lawyers. You won't tell the truth to the people that this shit could be as poisoned as Flint.
Right.
We're going to get hundreds of houses instead of thousands because I talked to the feds. This is what's going on. I know you're listening, John. No offense. I told you before. My kid, your kid. This is factual now. It's based on facts alone. There's no way we're going to get justice. This could be as big as Flint. And when I went to look on YouTube and they were pretty viral, couple 100,000 apiece, you can't find them. You do, it's real easy search. YouTube, LeDuff, demolition, Detroit. Real easy, right?
Right.
In the first 100 scroll downs, you'll find one story. And the only reason you probably found that story, because I couldn't find it yesterday, was because a few of us downloaded it. One. And Mayor, this week was demolition week, Karen. Look at us, demolition week, because this came out and nobody reported it. Shame on y'all. Shame on y'all. So I found one. You knew, Mayor, because I fucking told you a bunch of times. There's no way around it, and I've got all those silly lawsuits that your underlings and your lawyers sent to me. I'm not afraid. Truth is a defense, and you don't got any. I got one. You guys want to see an old one?
Yes.
This is from 2016, before I left Fox 2, and it was the last critical one they did. And it's important to say, I wasn't allowed to do any. They told me stop doing them because the mayor came and talked to him. You know what I'm saying? And I said, oh, okay. And then the boss went on vacation. We did one anyway. Because this ain't no Don Lemon, Tucker Carlson bullshit. I love you all. Watch this one and pay attention to the babies at the end. And sister, if you're out there and those are your kids, I'd love to do a follow-up today. Let's roll it. You know how we've been telling you about Duggan, his demolitions, and his dirt drama?
Trucking costs went up because we're demanding prompt service of clean fill.
The worst issue was the fill, and it was the trucking expense to bring dirt in from 30 or 40 miles away.
So what the mayor seems to be saying is the cost of demolitions went up because of good, clean dirt.
That's our 4 inches of topsoil. How do you like it?
What do you know about the 4 inch topsoil?
I know about it, man, because I'm from the hood, man. I know, I'm educated. None of them have it. Not a single house.
That's not even topsoil, huh?
No, it's not. It's rocks and clay.
Back when Mayor Dave was doing the demos, there was no dirt drama. Back then, the law said that the whole hole had to be filled with dirt. Nice dirt. No crappy bits of concrete or brick dirt. But then Detroit went broke. And we got an emergency manager and a new mayor. And then the dirt law got changed. Now you could throw crappy bits of brick and concrete in the holes. Just make sure the top 3 feet was clean fill. That was supposed to save us a lot of money. But somehow it didn't. And Mike blames the dirt. But how, Mike, when you're using less dirt?
Got to bring in good, clean soil from far away.
Whoa. Questionable contracts, skyrocketing prices, your tax dollars. And now Mike's got his own full-blown federal investigation. It's unclear if the city under Duggan ever even followed the 3 feet of clean fill law. And here's where it gets weirder. Mike's top lawyer, Melvin Hollowell, is asking the city council to change the law to a new 6 inches of dirt law. And he wants to make the law retroactive. That's right. Melvin wants to go back in time and change the law to, quote, avoid any unintended consequences. I bet there's 1,000 guys in the county jail dreaming of a retroactive law to avoid any unintended consequences. We reached out to His Honor and his demolition experts. They wouldn't speak to us, but watch. It's pretty funny.
holes?
How many holes have not been properly filled? You all went on the record, on camera, told the people of Detroit the cost
submit your
ballooned
questions in writing.
because you put dirt in
And I'll
there.
answer in writing.
You didn't put dirt in there.
I wrote my questions down.
Yeah, we'll answer in writing.
Yeah, let me give them to you on the record. Why don't the holes have 3 feet of dirt as required by law? What is the estimated cost going to be? Did the city break its own laws?
Pool boy, Mr. Farkas, what's up with the dirt? Put it in writing. Try and deliver it. What's up with the dirt?
What is it that you want?
Melvin Hollowell.
Well, you can't get Melvin Hollowell because he is not here.
Where is he? I keep sending him messages and calls. He's a public servant. He's not running for office.
Yes, sir.
He's hiding? I asked for the information from your office. I'm sure you've seen it, so would you have it, sir?
You've got to put your questions in writing.
They are. Here's the answer. It says, come get it 2 days ago. I don't have it, so it's been put in writing. So the answer is, where is it?
You have to put your questions in writing, and we'll respond in writing.
Where is it? That's it right there. That's the writing. Where's the information? If you said, hey, look, I'm just going to turn that homework in a couple days later. Don't worry about it. What did your teacher say?
She's going to be like, where's your homework?
What?
She's going to say, where's your homework?
Where's your homework? Where's the homework?
The traders deserve the absolute best demo contractors out there.
You remember this guy, the city expert who showed up at a demo site last fall? A site that he picked? Why'd they send you?
I'm the subject matter expert on the stuff in the city.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk to Jim Wright. They sent me to Pool Boy, and I want to talk to the man. He won't talk to me now either. But look at the lot he was showing off back then as a model of their demolition awesomeness. Oh, come on! And here's the mayor's 10,000th demo. He was crowing about it 6 weeks ago.
Nobody in America has begun to try to address blight at the rate that we have.
And look at it today. A real moonscape. Where's all the fluffy grass you promised us? And guess what this cost? $23,930. You might not be able to grow pumpkins in the mayor's lots, kids. You might not be able to play football on them either. But hey, don't worry about it. There's always a bunch of big rocks you can throw at each other.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor!
Come out of your badger hole, Mr. Mayor. Come on now, explain yourself. In words. From your mouth.
And all to put it in writing.
I'm just thinking back. My friends are not left or right. I don't care what y'all say. I care about you. I care about us all. This was obvious. How bad is it? We will never get there because of politics, but it's admitted now, isn't it, Mike and Karen? You see it, dribs and drabs. It's true.
Yeah, Charlie, remember someone that was saw me out and made a comment to someone I was with. They said, "Is that Karen Dumas?" And the person said yes, and they said, "Tell her and Charlie to stay on it because Charlie is onto something." So you've been onto this, and this is someone that works for the mayor. So they too know that all this is wrong.
You know, performance matters. So you and Karen have to perform, keep an audience. And the reality is that after 10 years, the mayor hasn't performed on the main things that a mayor is supposed to perform on. It's that simple. You're kind of ingenious, and you have great artistic vision and how you present it. I love those cute kids, but that's the reality. Like the proof is in the pudding, or whatever metaphor you want to use.
And how much have you? God, these drinks are good. They're making me feel good.
For the record, I've only had one, and I'm I don't want to.
Your butler's driving. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. We got it. Everything.
No, I'm afraid.
You're afraid. Don't worry. I'll not be afraid for you, sir.
I don't want someone from City Hall calling the 3rd or 4th precinct saying, "Hey, look for Cox driving down Michigan Avenue."
Man, suck my cocks, man. Motherfucker. Don't worry, we got it all.
There'll be a mugshot of me, 2 days from now. And
you're right. You don't look like Lenny Dykstra. You look like Nick Nolte.
I like that. God, he was great.
What's up, sugar tits?
Yeah, yeah. I liked him. Yeah, I'll take that.
Well, again, for the people, for the children. I got to go see the urologist. I don't know what's going to happen. But for the children, I don't care. For the kids, what?
Okay.
Did I just say that out loud?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, never mind. A little worried about that.
I didn't get the connection when I was waiting for it.
My eyes are going bad. Everything's going bad, man. Everything's going bad. But I lose no hope. None. I lose no hope. Because I talked to my ma, the one that's got your wife's sign in her yard. Still there. Possums live under it now. Good shall not always prevail, and evil shall not always prevail. That's not God's plan. It's a cycle. One has its day, and the wheel turns, and the other has its day. Yes. And you just must be strong and go for the truth. And this is wrong. And mark my words, more of these are coming. And hello, dude. Hello, dude. I don't want to say no names right now. It's coming. I told you. You thought you were covered. You guys fucked the people, man. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Mike Cox, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome,
Mark,
back.
The full crew. Thank you.
Yeah. How about me and you?
I'm welcome back anytime. People will call me tomorrow and say, why the
Give
hell
the
did
number
you go
again.
on that
Give
show?
the number again.
833 Mike Cox.
Wait, let me text Don and Tucker. There's always a Michigan angle to this.
Yeah.
Karen, thank you for your service to this great city of ours.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Never lose faith. All right. We'll see you. You know what we should do?
What?
Run the whole thing. I was like, we break it in half. It was so good, we break it in half. But no. Eric Mays is getting a suit on the Avenue of Fashion. America's city councilman will be in Troy Monday getting a suit.
All right.
On the Avenue of Fashion. And hopefully he'll make a little time for the little show that knew him when he was just Flint City Councilman. We'll see you Monday.